right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to GGrated. Today, we are going to talk about Shadow of the Colossus, okay? Gray is a vet. He's played it before. I've never played it. He recommended it. We're going to do a good GG rating today. I'm Gino.
I'm Gray.
So, y'all stand by. Y'all in for a treat. I believe y'all going to get a lot of good info in reference to this. Stand by.
Let's go, baby. So I'm gonna go into a little bit more of this game. I'm gonna go right into my breakdown of my rating, if that's cool with you, unless there's something else you want to add, buddy.
No, I'll get to mine after yours, but yeah, I'm interested to see what you thought about it.
All right, let's get it. Let's go. All right, graphics. What they were able to do with this PlayStation 2 era is incredible. The way they made the Colossi move and how everything looks at scale is really amazing. There's a reason why this game has been remastered so many times. The foundation they had to work with was an easy decision. A game that looks this good can just keep looking better as our technology for textures and graphical output increases. I'm grading for PS2 graphics, though. This is one of the most impressive PS2 games out there. I'm going to say it again. This is one of the most impressive PS2 games out there. I give it a solid 9.5. A 10 if the environment was a little more flushed out. I know you see deserts, wooded areas, and water areas, but there is a lot of area without foliage and just needs a little extra to make it pop.
So I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
Yep.
So 9.5 for the graphics.
9.5 for graphics, and I'm grading on a PlayStation 2 scale.
Okay,
here.
Got you. That should be noted.
Like, wow. And I'm gonna play a little bit more of the music here. While I go over the music portion. So this is one of the main themes that you hear as you're fighting the Colossus or Colossi.
Play that track.
Yeah. So this is one of the main ones, and what's cool about it too, I'm gonna see if I can find it. After you defeat one, it goes into let me see if it goes into it. Now,
so who is the composer for the music? Do you know?
Yeah, so the composer is Kao Atani, Japanese composer. He is best known for creating the soundtrack for the Heisei Gamera trilogy.
You said that pretty good. Yeah.
God, he did some Godzilla. He did Mothra and King Ghidorah, giant monsters, all out attack. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, dude. He worked on Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. Yes, and Shadow of the Colossus. Musical themes for the game's individual colossi. According to Yuda, one of the challenges of the music's production was to incorporate compositions whose melody and structure would adapt in response to the changing circumstances of gameplay events. And just to break that down, after you defeat a Titan, the music changes and it sounds really sad, but it like flows perfectly out of that main theme that I just played. It sounds really sad, and then it goes into like hopeful, and it gives you a crazy feeling of like, man, this is sad that I took down this like almost like innocent Titan, but then again, it's hopeful because I'm one step closer to bringing back my girl here.
Yeah.
So that part tells a story in itself. That's some powerful music direction, in my opinion. Once understanding what the music is about and how it was put into practice, I give it a solid 9.
Solid 9. I agree with that. The music is very strong in this game.
Dude, yeah, it is. It suits the material in an incredible way. But can't really hold its own by itself. I think it's like there's a lot of time where you don't hear any music too, and I think that's good. You just hear a lot of ambience and a lot of just like atmospheric stuff. But if you were to listen to this on a soundtrack, I don't think it's 10 level. I think it fits the material, and that's why I give it a 9 and not higher.
All right, so you got a 9 for the music. So with the music, So just to go back, you had a 9.5 for the graphics, 9 for the music. So what you think about the story?
Okay. So without looking at the Wikipedia, you get the sense that this hero wonder has lost someone he loved, Mono. So he takes her to this forbidden temple to resurrect her using the help of a being called Dorman. Come to find out after reading Wikipedia, she was sacrificed, which is pretty messed up and brings up a host of other questions. I love, though, that the game does not include a lot of dialogue except for Dorman and later some others. Spoilers. But our main hero calls his horse, and that's about it. Otto, Otto.
Limitations of PS2, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. But it's amazing how it is able to convey such a powerful story using huge monsters and world building. I gotta say, I love it, man. I give it an 8.5 because it feels unfinished and maybe has too many questions. So
Okay,
I'd like to see
8.5.
more of this.
That's still kind of strong though, because it
Mhm.
sucks you in with the story. I would think, right?
Yeah, it definitely does. And it's most of that is because I want to see more from this
Yeah,
world. It's like
yeah.
it was left like, okay, what
That's
now?
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, so you got 9.5 for the graphics, 9 for the music, and now you have an 8.5 for the story. So
Yep.
we're going to go into the gameplay, which I always feel is the most
Gameplay.
important on a game. But you tell me what you think.
Yep. So this one, I had a lot of thoughts on it. Um, so just remember, it isn't necessarily how fun it is. It's more of a breakdown how the gameplay has been synthesized, like how it was created, how it moves, how it acts, how it's been compiled, and what the end result looks like and feels like. There's a real sense of sorrow as you take down these Colossus, which brings up a powerful theme as you go through the game. Resurrecting your beloved while sacrificing what seems to be innocent Colossus who were minding their own business. After you take each one down,
Yes,
you're
Jock.
back.
Yes, Gray. Yes. That says exact. Okay, I'll let you finish, but
Uh-huh.
yes, yes.
Yeah, man. After you take each one down, you're back at the temple and can just sit there and look at your lady laying there as the wind blows, and the realization of what you have to do sets in. The gameplay loop is satisfying and just creates another layer of the narrative that really gets you invested. Climbing the Colossi is a really cool experience, especially because of the variety of creatures you encounter. Stamina is your friend, and finding ways to regain it without having to start the climb over is crucial to success. Interacting with the environment and working out the puzzle of how to continue in areas is very rewarding when you figure it out. Strictly gameplay speaking, it's incredible what they've built here. Really special, and the physics are crazy. You get such a sense of scale and speed with those behemoths. Gameplay is special and unique, if not for some frustrations with controls at times. It might be a 10, but I got to give it a 9.5 for what they've built.
Okay.
For it's really incredible, man, and all the different things you do during the gameplay is really incredible.
So you name some specific stuff just to kind of go back over. You're really into. I know we talked about the making you kind of feel that sorrow whenever you defeat a colossi. But in reference to finding different ways to keep your stamina and everything, I think is definitely need to be duly noted on this game
Yeah.
because it's a big thing.
This dude's got some crazy grip strength, bro. Like he can hang
He's
on for
got to
dear
be in
life while
shape. He has got to be in the
Yeah,
best shape ever.
he's in good shape.
But so you said 9.5, right? But could have been a 10 if it wasn't for the
Yeah.
controls of that PS2 era, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that are a bit clunky, and
Yeah.
I don't know. There could be some more stuff that you unlock as you progress in the game. That would be cool too.
Yeah.
But as far as what they built and what you do with it, it feels really flushed out.
Okay. So 9.5 for the gameplay, 8.5 for the story, 9 for the music, and 9.5 for the graphics. So I'm gonna go ahead and say ahead of time there's no multiplayer, right? It's a single player game, correct?
Right.
So we're
No
not
multiplayer, so
so we're not going to
that's
rate
not
that.
graded.
No.
Right.
So the
So
last category, as far as I know, would be the fun factor, right?
fun factor. So this one was tough for me, man, because by itself, without all the other things, the gameplay, like I was rating the gameplay just on its own merits, and the fun factor is different because it's not your classic fun game you would think of. You it's really fun for me because of the sheer awe of it all. I'd say it's more rewarding once you get past the frustration of exactly what in the heck you're supposed to do. The fun factor for me is at 8.5.
Okay.
Fun isn't the word I would use for this game. It's more of an experience that feels important and worth having. I feel I have matured as a gamer after playing this game. Back when it was new and now revisiting it, very much appreciated. If there was another rating of like all factor, I would give it a 10. So I'm doing a bonus rating for all factor and I'm giving it all in wonder a 10, baby.
The all in wonder 10. It's like the all in mighty. This is the ultimate rating, a 10. Yes. Give me a 10.
Yes, all in wonder is a 10, man. This isn't your classic fun game. It's like it's more. It makes you wiser for playing it. So my GG rating, a solid 9 with a caveat.
Okay.
Nostalgia makes it even higher for me. This game means a lot to me. One of my favorites ever made. It's on my list of top 5. Even though I say a 9, it's a 10 in my heart.
I figured it was kind of up on your list when I asked you what game should we rate, should we play, and immediately within like 5 seconds, just Shadow of the Colossus. So
yes,
that's pretty good. So solid. We're gonna go. The GG rating for Gray will be a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. I like that rating, man.
That's right, baby.
Let's go.
The 10.
So with you knocking that out with a 9, I know you're kind of the veteran, I guess you want to say, for Shadow of the Colossus. You played it back in the day, right? And I kind of am new to this, right? So I think I should let them know as a newbie how I feel coming straight fresh into this and give my GG rating.
Yes, now it's time for Gino's GG rating.
Game not over.
All right, so I'm going to go straight into it. Went over what it's kind of like, what your take on it. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about it and try not to bore everybody with the same kind of details. But obviously the graphics still look good today. That's a big thing because when you play these older games, sometimes you're going to get where you can't even stand the graphics. It's not going to look as good as in 2023, right? And recording. I have to disagree with you with the open world concept. I think it's kind of open world. I'm sorry. Let me kind of refresh. Yes, it's kind of open world, definitely back on PS2 era, but I feel like it's more of a linear open world where it keeps you in a certain spot, kind of like a Halo Infinite of 2020, right? It's not open world, but it's huge areas to play. I think that it's a very artistic nature to this story that they have, and I think it's because you have Japan Studio is actually one of the developers for this game back in 2005. I feel like if they had more environment on it, I kind of agree with you on that. Like I remember there's like a little lizard or something that runs around every once in a while when you're riding on the horse.
Yeah, and you can actually kill those things, and I think you get more stamina or something. I didn't ever do that, but I've killed a few of them and didn't really notice anything happen. But I think they actually have a purpose to them.
Really? Okay. Well,
yeah.
But I was looking, I was like, oh, I can imagine seeing a whole bunch of animals and stuff in like a PlayStation 5 era, But like you said, it was developed in 2005. Japan Studio and Team Ico developed it. It was published by Sony. The game graphics, going back to the graphics, it really takes the PS2 to the next level. I feel like it pushes the limits. It's still playable in 2023, as I stated. it's the one of the two highlights I say on the game, the graphics, and I feel like the story, I wouldn't say story, the gameplay is more the second highlight of that game. Even they have straight edge 3D person model, so the models of the person is kind of that straight edge, but that 3D model, that PS2 era, it still looks kind of detailed, and I really appreciate that when I'm playing that with the graphics. So I'll give the graphics, because this PS2, I'm kind of strict on that, is 7.5 for the graphics.
Nice.
But even though, because I know I love it, but I have to remember it's not top notch, right?
I got you.
So 7.5 for the graphics. Now go into the music. I know you hit on it a lot. You played some music. The thing I just want to know, one thing on the music that I really like is whenever you're facing a boss, a Colossus, it kind of gets you hyped, right? And it kind of keeps you going. Even if you fall off the Colossus, like, you're like, okay, I can't stop because of the music. The music kind of keeps you going, and you find yourself, even if it takes an hour to try to beat this boss. So I think the music keeps your attention in the game, and I believe it makes the game even better. So I do give the music a 9.2. A 9.
It is epic, isn't it?
It
I got
is.
some of it playing right now.
It makes me feel even better with that rating, that I gave it such a high rating, just knowing and finding out that there was a Gundam Wing artist that he made the Gundam Wing music too, which is, I love Gundam Wing. We watched it when we was younger, so that even makes it even better. I should shoot it up even more. But anyways, 9.2 for the music. The story. Nice. The story. I believe the story is kind of well known to me. I don't really like it too much because it's a guy, or how it's usually known, a prince usually saves a princess. In this case, it's Wander takes Mono, which is the princess, to a god, right, and tries to save her, which is the Mario Peach thing, to me, and it's just like, I've seen it so many times.
That's such a good perspective on it, because now it makes me think they should have showed more detail.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
you have a completely different take on it that I kind of agree with.
Yes. So I feel like he has to beat the bosses, just like kind of like I keep relating to Mario because it's so well known with Mario, right? You have to beat the bosses to save the princess at the end, right? Which is 16 Colossi at this point. So I give the story a 6, man, because it's something I've seen. It's something that wasn't new, and they kind of adapted to it. Yes, they tell in a different way, but I have to say, I like the artistic nature, but I give the story a 6. So, the gameplay. Going into a little bit of the gameplay, as I said, was one of the two things that stand out so much on this game. I believe the gameplay really shows when you're finding not only just one tactic to beat the Colossus, but you're finding new ways to beat them on different Colossus. It's not the same thing every time. It kind of is. It's kind of hard to explain and not to give a lot away, but you find new things that you have to do to climb up this Colossus and beat them each time. It should also be noted how big the bosses are and how they walk slow, just like a huge, like a troll or something like that would be walking. And it's just so, when they slam down, it just shakes the whole screen, and just like, it's amazing to me. It just gives you the whole immersive feel.
That's really good.
The gameplay, the game can be really challenging. Okay, if you fall, it just, like I said earlier, what you stated, it makes you want to rip your hair out, but you get right back on trying to beat it again. The thing I hated the most about the game, and Gray, I'm sure you can relay on this, how frustrated I was, is I started off the game. I started on the Steam Deck, and when you get done, I'll go ahead and tell you, it's because it's at the very beginning. It's not going to be much of a spoiler, but you have a sword, and you hold the sword up, and it points a light in a direction and tells you where to go. Well, the first place I go to is a little dead end surrounded by mountains, and the camera scrolls up and looks at the top of the mountain, and that's it. Like, there's nothing telling you to climb. There's nothing telling you to do anything. So at this point, I'm looking around thinking that it's like a Zelda kind of moment that you have to stand on something and maybe a door open up and you go through the mountain. But I spent 30 minutes trying to figure that out, not knowing you have to climb. Now, you got to remember, I've never played this game. I didn't know it had to do with climbing or anything like that. I've heard about it, but
Yeah.
so I go into a forest to the right on the horse. I get lost in the forest. So, guys, next thing you know, I get so frustrated. I'm
Oh
like, this guy
man,
recommended this game. I can't even find the first boss.
that's so funny.
So I'm texting Gray, and I'm like, Gray, I'm so pissed off right now. Like, I don't know what to do. So what I did is I looked at the walkthrough and I found out you had to climb. And once you do that, it kind of gets you to the point of, okay, the game's about climbing. Okay, you got to climb. You
That's
got to
right.
keep your stamina. And from that point on, I do have to say, it definitely works out. And I actually had grown to love the gameplay. So it just
Oh,
does
that's
not
great.
give you much direction, kind of what you hinted on.
Oh, that is
So
a relief because I was so scared that you were gonna hate it after that because we even talked about it how like back in the day the game came with a manual that you could kind of flip through and thumb through to kind of get an idea and you went into it totally cold,
yes,
brother.
yes.
But that's so awesome that it turned around for you.
It did. So I give the story a 6, Gray. A 6. I have to give it 6 based on the prince and princess gameplay, and I give the gameplay a 9. So the story is 6,
Nice.
gameplay a 9. Um,
Nice.
no multiplayer, obviously, so we're not going to scale that. So let's go into the last one, the fun factor. Okay. I believe it's fun in a challenging way. If you have at least 1 to 2 hours of chill time of just being able to finish it, because I feel like I'm a person that once I start something, I kind of want to finish it.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're going to want to finish it to beat a boss, a Colossi. And then, hey,
Yeah.
once you beat the Colossi, you can put it down and you can come back and go to the next one, right? So, on that factor, I give the fun factor based on, hey, you know what to expect. It's challenging as well because it's got that puzzle aspect to it. I give it a 9 out of 10 for the fun factor. So,
Good.
overall, my GG rating for the game is a 8.14 for Shadow of the Colossus. Fresh game, first time playing it.
Okay.
8.14. 8.14.
Okay. So dude, you went down to the decimal point. I think mine's like a 9 point something.
Okay.
9.1 something.
So
So
if you round it up, you can say an 8. We'll go with an 8. But 8.14, I think it's pretty good. Now I'm basing it on
yeah, that's good.
I'm taking in consideration. I want to make sure I point this out.
Sure.
I'm not judging it on the newer AAA games. I'm judging it on PS2 era graphics that we have, right?
Sure.
And I feel
And
like
ho- honestly, I think that's pretty good considering that you don't have all the nostalgia that I do.
yeah.
Like, I'm pretty pleased with that. I thought you were gonna maybe do it lower. Like, I wasn't sure, but come on, Shadow Colossus. Yeah.
Yes, yes. You have officially made me a fan. I will tell you that.
That's awesome. Yay.
You
I'm
made
so
me a fan.
excited. Dude, that's so good. That's a great rating and a great review. Really enjoyed that.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. Well, awesome. So that's our GG ratings. 9 point something and a 8.14. Excellent, guys. Excellent. And if you average those up, 8.64.
Hey, I think that's
Yeah.
you
Dude,
want it
yeah.
higher. I can tell you want it
I
higher.
do. I do.
But you got to
And
remember
you want it lower, maybe.
I know I do. I'll say this. The reason is you got something I kind of brung up the story, right? Like when
Yeah.
you think about it in your head now, do you like, oh yeah, it kind of does seem like that.
Yeah,
And
the
that's what
story
brought
hits
my
it.
score down so much, I think, was the same old story that we have. Now and then you kind
Sure.
of said it yourself. Tell me if you think this. You
Mhm.
wanted more detail in the
I
story.
did. At the same time, it was cool to not have the detail, but it's like they did all this world building and then they didn't tell you all the detail at the end like I would want. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, man, there needs to be a sequel, honestly.
I'm with you on that 100%. I feel like a sequel would be epic. So,
Oh
yeah.
gosh,
But
I
that's a
hope they
good
do
GG
it. And then
rating, I think that's fair.
dude, it was awesome. Well, awesome. That was so fun to do. I really enjoyed that.
I think that everybody's going to get something out of this episode and get something out of this game. And if you haven't tried it, guys, try Shadow of the Colossus. Take Gray's advice like I did, especially if you haven't played it. Start from scratch. Do know that you have to climb, though, at the dead end. I just want to throw that out there. But other than that, great game. I hope you get something out of it.
I hope you guys do too. I hope it's a good game that you enjoy. Thanks for listening to GG Rated.
Have a good one, guys.